Welcome to part 2 of our Starting Over video series. You can watch these videos on their own, but they're really designed to go along with a book called Starting Over, Building a New Life. If you don't have a copy of this book, you can get one. They're really inexpensive. You can get one off of Amazon, or the church or ministry that you may be a part of could also have some copies or access to copies for you. Now today, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about Chapter 2. And Chapter 2 is entitled The Key to Building a New Life. Now, let me just be transparent with you for just a minute. I have zero construction skills of any kind whatsoever. Building things with my hands is just not my forte. But a number of years ago, I looked around my house and I found some wood laying around, and I knew I had a hammer and some nails and some tools, and I kind of needed a bookcase. So I just decided that, in spite of the fact that I didn't really have any experience building things, and I had never really taken time to listen to anyone who would teach me and show me how to build things the proper way, I had in my head some idea of what a bookcase looked like, obviously. I mean, I knew what a bookcase was. So I thought, how hard could it be? I'll just build one myself. And that was my plan. And I set out to do that. And so I started putting pieces together. And by the time I was done, it looked like a bookcase. But then I took that thing and I stood it up on its end and I let go of it. And as soon as I did, it just started to sway back and forth like this. It became obvious really quickly that although what I had built, just based on my own knowledge and best effort, looked like a bookcase that someone else might have, it wasn't the same. It wasn't strong enough to withstand any weight or pressure that got put on it. It would have come crashing to the ground. Now, for some of you, that could be a little bit of what you may have experienced in life, that you just kind of set out with your own best thinking, trying to put a life together your own way because you kind of knew what you wanted and what it was supposed to look like, and you were just in a hurry to get there, and so you just did the best you could and you tried to make a life. But then you discovered that what you had built wasn't able to withstand the weight and the pressure that was going to come, and it came crashing down. Well, today, I just want to offer you hope. First, I want to tell you that you're not alone. It's happened to so many of us in so many different ways. But there is hope for building a new life. There's hope for experiencing a life that can withstand the weight of things that come your way. I want to read you something that Jesus said. This is not like some kind of self-help course. I don't want you to go, hey, here's what worked for him, so let me try what he says. Now, let's go to the one who created us, the one who knows better than anyone how our lives are designed to work. And let's listen to what he says. So let's go to Jesus. Now, there was this point in time where Jesus had been teaching his followers, and he was teaching them about how God designed them to live, how life was supposed to be in all these different areas of their life. And at the end of that, he then says this. In summary, he says, therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and doesn't put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. There's a key to building a new life that we find in what Jesus said. It's the obedience that comes from faith. Trusting Jesus enough to do what he says in all of these areas of our life is the difference maker. That's the secret sauce, so to speak. It's not just listening to other people. It's not going based on your own experience. It's not just, hey, let me Let me just do this myself. I'll figure it out. I'll make it work. The secret to a life that can withstand the weight and the storms that are going to come your way is learning to trust Jesus enough to do things his way in every area. In Proverbs chapter 3, we find a couple of verses that are pretty well known. You may be familiar with these. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." In other words, trust in the Lord for direction in every aspect of your life. Don't rely on your own best thinking, because let's just be honest, our best thinking is not that great. God's plans are great. Scripture says that God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. God just knows more than we do. So trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. And in all of your ways and everything that you do, look to him. Look to him with an attitude that says, man, God, you know better than I do. So what do I need to do in this area of my life? Do that, and he'll make your path straight. He'll point you in the direction that you need to go. Because listen, when God is not in charge of our plans, we have terrible, terrible plans. So my encouragement in chapter 2 is simple. Seek to trust the Lord enough to do what he says in every area of your life. And you'll find in that a strength to stand and to persevere and to continue, no matter what it is that may come your way in life. So take some time today, read chapter 2, continue to spend time with God through study of his word and through prayer. Continue to spend time with God's people, because these things will help to build your faith and build your confidence in God. And let's watch what he does in your life as you let him be in charge of the decisions you make. You follow his plan for how to piece things together. And over the rest of this book, as we move forward, we're going to look at what it is that Jesus tells us about some really key areas in our life. What is it that he teaches us? And what is it that we need to start doing differently so that we don't experience our life coming crashing down all around us?